Hi, everybody. You're back here with Zephaniah and the Fix. The last time we got together, we talked about an essay that I found in my writing. When I study the word, I ask questions of myself and I write, the answers. One of the essays that I wrote was Why Did Jesus Come to Earth? And I'm sure that it was I was probably in church and it was probably a Bible study question. But anyway, I wrote the essay and we're going to pick up from where I left off, which was anyone that does not love remains in death. That's 1 John 3:14. Anyone that does not love remains in death. So the question is, why did Jesus come? Jesus came so that we would see what it looks like to love one another on a daily basis, no matter what's going on in our lives, no matter our own personal sufferings, no matter what. He was the model and is the model for how to behave with one another so that you can stay connected to God and live out the life that God intended for you to live. See, what we fail to realize is that every interaction that we have with people sends their life in a different trajectory. Different trajectory. I'll tell you something. I wrote a letter to a guy named Chris who worked at T-Mobile out here in New Jersey. And going to that mall was my first venture into like a big public space since my assault in August, where a woman just beat me down in the street, crushed my orbital bone. And it wasn't even the beating that was the issue. What crushed my heart and my spirit was that people walked by. Every punch that landed, I could see feet. To the left, I could see feet crossing the street. I could see feet, and nobody stopped. See, that's when you know the world is so deceived and gone so wild. That's why Jesus came. Because it was foretold that this would be the state of our lives and the state of the world as we continue to walk in what we call our self-sufficiency. So Jesus was here to show us how to love. I'm going to get back to the essay and we can get back to the conversation. Jesus said, I'm back at the essay. Jesus said, I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. That comes from Matthew 5:17. Jesus didn't come to abolish the law. So all of the Pharisees, all of the Jews who felt intimidated by the power that Jesus showed, to me, first of all, says you really knew who he was, so cut it out. Really? He did all those signs and wonders. He knew things about the word that he clearly didn't learn from them. So, I'm sorry. I digress because that's just fugazi. I just don't believe that they didn't know. So, we're back at this. Matthew 5:17. So he came to fulfill, not to abolish. How do you fulfill the law? Well, it says, what does Jesus come to do? Why did he come to us from God's innermost chamber? This is my essay. Sorry, I went back and forth a little too much. So what did Jesus come to do? Why did he come to us from God's innermost chamber? Though there's scripture that speaks to many reasons and an interpretation of Christ's coming exists in all of them, my belief is that Jesus Christ came to save us from an interminable death, a life without love. And that's where we left off in our last conversation. The last time the world got out of hand, we incurred God's wrath as he washed the earth of all but a trace of humanity when the rains came in the time of Noah. We sinned right out the gate. Hello. And we continued to sin. We continued to sin and be in rebellion and be ungracious in our behavior until it had become too much. Really, let's think about how ratchet we are to God. Even when I studied in Judaism, I'd be like, wait, didn't he just do this thing? Why are y'all arguing with him? Why are you arguing with Moses? Why are you yelling at Joshua? Why? What are you people doing? That's how I felt when I studied in Judaism. I was like, wait, didn't he just... These are things I didn't understand when I was in Judaism. I was like, I'm not understanding this at all. But okay, this is what y'all are telling me is what it is. It's what it is. Okay. So anyway, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings. I didn't say that. Genesis says it. Genesis 6:6 to be exact. Well. I'm thinking he'd had just about enough. Yeah. God was expressing his sorrow at what we had done to ourselves. Because remember, we did start out with this awesome place called Eden, right? And then, of course, when we decide to fall out of alignment with the way things are supposed to be, such that we can live a fruitful life and have everything, that's when we have to reap the consequences of what we've sown. So yeah, we started out, Adam and Eve, in a beautiful garden. He gave us dominion over everything. He was like, you run it. It's fabulous. This is you. This is all you. And now the saddest part of the fall to me is that nobody took responsibility for what they did. And I'm going to be honest, I really believe that had somebody taken responsibility and said, you know what though, God, for real though, you're right. I should not have listened to that snake because you gave me everything. Why would I listen to him? No, first thing when God spoke to Adam, poor baby, poor Adam, bless him though, bless Adam. But he was like, no, it was her, the girl you gave me, her. Really, Adam? Really? This is what we do. See, that started the beginning of a whole lot of issues in relationships. I'm just saying. That's just me, though. But then Eve, see, I'm mad at Eve because Eve was put here to help him. Now he's going to turn around and say, see, that woman you gave me, that wasn't right. But she should have just said, you know what? I should not have listened to this fool over here telling me about things that... But she said, he made me do that. Right. So nobody took any responsibility. And guess what? That's how we are in relationship pretty much now too, right? Unless you're working on being in alignment with God and being in a relationship where God is at the center of your relationship. A husband, a wife, and God, that's the perfect setup. That's it. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the essay. So we were at Genesis, where it said, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings. Genesis 6:6 through 7. God was expressing his sorrow at what we had done to ourselves. But after the flood, God made a promise. See, that's the beauty of God. He loves us. Why? I don't understand. I really don't, because we ratchet and I can't. But I have to because Jesus. And I'm obedient. So if he said do it, I'm just doing it. That's it. I don't always understand it when I do it. I just do it until I understand it. And then even if I don't understand, if he said do it anyway. You got that, right? But after the flood, God made a promise. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth. Look what God did. He set it up so that, all right, now y'all were ratchet. I had to clean house. Everybody's out of here except Noah and his little crew. And they's a hot mess too. Trust and believe. God puts all his little hot messes to work for him. All of us. All of us are a hot mess working for God. That's what it is. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, just like he did when? And fill the earth, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the air, on all that move on the earth, and all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hand. That's Genesis 9. That's not me. That's him. This, in lay terms, is a do-over. I'm about a do-over, but you know how special we are. Let's stop right here. We're in the 10-minute mark on the fix. We'll come back and finish this essay up another day. Take a look at Genesis 9. Take a look at Genesis. And look at what God gave us to work with. If only we would get into alignment with Him. That's your fix. Have a great day.